What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Black Perspective again. And we got a special guest today. So we got this is actually a surprise for Higher Thoughts too. He didn't know we was gonna pull this off, but this is our actual daughter, Tia, as y'all can see.
Hey,
Ashley,
y'all.
we ain't gonna say her full name. She's using
Yeah,
a little,
you know.
she's confident about. I mean, she want to have that confined. We understand that. But yeah, so we bringing her on the show. So we're gonna kick back off on the last video we posted on YouTube, y'all. So Higher Thoughts, I felt like the last video we was having, we was kind of we was coming from a constructive standpoint, but I felt like we was kind of going a little hard on the Gen Z and the younger generation. So I was like, let me talk to her. I talked to our daughter or whatever and to get her point of view of what she thought. And at first she was kind of like, it's kind of it's kind of a little rough. But then her thoughts was like, no, I'm coming not from a personal standpoint. We're coming from more of a constructive standpoint, as far as what they put out there, not them per se, but the music that's out there. So she got down with that. She understood that. So that's what we're gonna kick off in that a little bit today. And then we'll just talk about random things too, y'all. But that's kind of piggybacking off of what we already discussed. So what's up, y'all? What y'all got? Bring some of that expertise in here, y'all.
Yeah, they try to trick me. They talking about I know it's somebody they I ain't gonna say the age, but they Gen Z. I'm like, I don't know no Gen Z people. Who you talking about? I don't know nobody from Gen Z. But yeah, this little cousin.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Put my 2 cents in.
Exactly. Put your 2 cents in. What you got?
So I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. So how you so we talk about a lot about just how things are in the community and different things like that. We old school. I'm probably generation Moses. They probably generation Abraham Lincoln. What's your generation think? Just how things are nowadays in today's society, where our culture is and all of that.
So I want to start with, I feel like this generation is more. I have to start off the bat by saying this generation is way more aware of like mental health and more of like our physical and mental like well-being. This generation is real big on that, and I have to give props to this generation for that because like on TikTok, is a big platform. That's all you see is like so many young people coming out speaking out about so many mental health matters and their childhood growing up, and it's a lot of things and topics that the older generations don't want to address or don't want to talk about or just have certain views on it that are just closed-minded, I would say.
And that's fair. That's fair. I can understand that. But what topics you think that we, besides like mental health, are we like closed-minded and don't want to listen and blah blah blah?
So a lot of the older generation, in my opinion, is closed-minded. Like I said, mental health, religion to me is another one, especially in the Black community. So I can't say for like other races, but speaking for the Black community, religion is another one. Sexual orientation, that one's another one. That's a hard topic. That's a hard topic for just today's generation, but like the older generation is big on the no for all that. And that's just a whole new generation. I mean, a whole nother conversation in itself. But those are just some of the topics I would say that has been changing nowadays that the older generation just can't change with.
This is gonna be a 4-hour and that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I get you on all those topics. I don't know if it's just the old generation on religion and other things like that. Religion and homosexual, the homosexuality and all that in the community. I don't think most. I get you. I understand. I don't really think most people care about it. It's just always been there. I think they pushing it down your throat more as far as that stuff. They try to make
I have to agree with that.
It's cool if it's. I mean, I can even live with it if it's on You know, when I was younger, TV after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it started getting a little raunchy. Now 7:30, you see all that. So it's like they promote it more to a younger generation. And that to me is like, I get it to try to make it more acceptable so the discrimination will go away, but it's almost like they advertise for it. You know, that's the only problem with that. And I don't care. I don't care. I'm not homophobic at all. I don't care who you want to, be with. They ain't got nothing to do with me.
And it's funny because we had a good conversation on that too. See, we talked about that, and you said how your thoughts that you actually wouldn't even put that in the top 15 homosexuality. That wouldn't even come up on the list because it ain't really affecting our community.
Not as a problem in the Black community, yeah.
Exactly. And what's funny? I want to show this video, y'all, but it was a good assessment. So a lady, she did a video, whatever. She's bisexual. And she put the video up, and it was a real good assessment because I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. And one of the ones I was telling her thoughts, and I was telling Phoenix, which is mom, about, I was talking to her about that. And I'm like, she made a point of saying that most children have high early puberty due to physical abuse and verbal abuse. Yeah. So what you think about that? Like, what y'all think about that though? Because we kind of talked about it beforehand a little bit, but what y'all think about that?
So she said from physical abuse and verbal abuse,
it causes y'all early puberty. I'm like,
I mean, I can see that because like it would cause you to have to grow up in a more like for sure mentally. If they mean like growing up physically, I don't see how that will coincide with it, but like on a more mental level, like as a child growing up into an adult, their mental be probably way more hardened and older probably because of the trauma. But physically, if she's saying, I don't see.
Yeah, I could go with that. I don't see, and when she said puberty, that means you going through changes as the, and that's physical, and I don't see that. Mental, I agree with what she said. It could be a little hard and a little tougher or more callous or cold or whatever mentally. Abuse is abuse and it mess with you mentally all the time, no matter how old you are. But I don't see it making them physically mature quicker. The hormones and the food, yeah.
And that's what I said.
I always say that.
The diet, and I said the actual environment too. That diet in your environment. That's what it is.
That I go with that, the stuff in there, but no, I don't know, sometimes. But here's the deal. The video though, that person named a whole bunch of stuff in that video. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you think about the stuff that she named, take your feelings out of it.
Yes,
might have been suspect. That one down, I can't verify that with no facts. And when she's talking about, all the men out here just beating the hell out they women, that ain't what most people doing. So that one I take out of it. But the other stuff, I don't, like you said, I wouldn't even put that in the top 10 of problems in the Black community.
I feel like when she spoke to the physical aspect of maturing faster in puberty, because she did make a statement later on in the video about everybody got a so-called uncle that's touching the children or something like that. I feel that it could be physically from that aspect of a child is getting violated at a young age, and it will cause advancement physically with puberty that way.
That's true. I agree with it, but that ain't what she said.
I know.
And then also that depends on that's situational as well. That depends on the situation. You can't just say everyone has that. I mean, like it's broad, but you can't just say that's for everyone.
And I'll say this, that was one of the ones where, so that's what I always be saying about how we make dysfunction normal. She said it like that happens like 1 out of 5, 25-30% of the households. That ain't gonna happen like that.
No.
It ain't even close. It might be 5%.
As far as what though, you speaking of?
So you got a pervy uncle molesting the kids and nobody want to talk about it.
I mean, I'm gonna be real, y'all. It's really a lot. It's a high percentage. I'm not. I can't name the percentage, but it's pretty high. It's pretty high.
It's higher than 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna say higher than that. Yeah.
I mean, you gonna make me look
Yeah,
that
I
way.
agree that it's high, but at the way she's claiming that that's what's causing that, and that's a big statement for something that's not. We can't put no evidence on that.
Yeah.
He's just making a claim saying, well, this is what's causing, basically children to grow up more develop physically. This is the cause, and like we know that it's in high amounts, but again, it still doesn't go for everyone.
So
Versus say, well, maybe in certain situations, maybe she could make it specific and say for victims that go through this specific situation, they tend to look more physically, like she would say that instead. This makes it more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So did you see the video he talking about?
No,
I didn't even see it.
Yeah. So it wasn't. So the point wasn't caught up that it makes them more through puberty. The point with this person was saying this person was about LGBTQ and person, right? So she was saying that people hating on the LGBTQ community, saying it's the worst thing that happened in the black community, and she named a whole bunch of stuff, and that was one of the things. But she really wasn't saying the pervy uncle was making them go through puberty quicker, but she was just saying a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But she did say verbal and mental abuse makes them go through puberty earlier. She specified that specifically.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I made a comment when he showed me the video that I said, I wish you pulled the video up and played it. But I made the comment that I think it's a whole bunch more stuff wrong in the black community instead of the LGBTQ community. One of the worst things in the black community is single family households. That's my worst thing, period.
Yeah.
That covers 10 or 15 other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing.
Like 60%, over 60%, which is crazy. I didn't know it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
For the whole nation,
like 71%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 70. Yeah, that's crazy.
72 to be exact.
Yeah. Household is a single family.
Yeah, that's now to bring it back to you again, T. What do you feel like as far as you talking to your generation? How do they feel about the things that's going on today? Because you made a great point. You talked about how the older generation really don't come to grips of the past of discussing mental health and things that y'all have went through and things, just overall, like we shy away. And I agree with that. The older generation do shy away from important topics, right?
We be like sucking up, quick cry. You don't need no doctor.
Yeah. Because but that's how we was raised though. We come from a real I would say aggressive background though.
Not aggressive, more free. We think, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, we think y'all soft. Y'all the generation, no, really, y'all the generation that grew up riding bikes with helmets and knee pads and stuff like that. We used to ride our bikes down to Belle Isle. Our mother wouldn't see us. We left the house in the early morning. They wouldn't see us till the street lights came up.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all grew up in a more protected environment because it also got crazier. They wasn't really. I mean, I guess a kid once in a while would get snatched off the streets in my day, but now kids getting snatched off the streets every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it got worse, so we had to overprotect y'all, but I think we overprotected y'all.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I agree with that. They are more sheltered, But I will say this though, we was more free, but we did deal with a lot of abuse. We did see a lot of violence. We did see a lot of things we should never see before coming up. So it did shape us to expose that to our children too, because we
feel like for y'all generation it's normal to be tough and aggressive, but that's not even technically the right way. You're supposed to be able to show your emotions and be able to cry if you need to and show how you feel. And since y'all went through so much of the traumatic things that y'all went through, it made the generation hard. So it's like that's what y'all supposed to be. It's like you're supposed to be tough and men don't cry, but the generation nowadays is normal. You're supposed to teach your child to feel. That's why y'all older generations have a lot of traumatic things to this day that y'all still go through because you weren't able to express how that felt and how you felt about that. Because y'all were supposed to be tough.
Good point.
No, that's fair. I agree with you 100%. But I'm gonna also push back on you. Ain't no man supposed to just be sitting around crying, and they knew I was gonna say that. Come on, you can't.
No, I see that.
A woman can cry, and you know what I'm saying, and that's fine. But a woman shouldn't just be sitting around crying all day about everything that happened.
Mhm.
It happens. Sometimes a man's supposed to cry if something happens, but not just because everything happened. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with
I agree with that.
I agree because it has to be a balance. I agree. I
Yeah.
believe in balance for everything. So I do agree with that. Like this generation, I do feel because I know some things about our generation that's good. We have a lot of bad things too, and I know like we are protected and comforted and cuddled all the time about every little thing. So like when any small thing happens, we don't know how to deal with it, and it's like, oh, you just get stressed out, and then it's like, oh, mental breakdown, this and that, everything is just too much to handle.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a story about how one of my friends told me he got over ADHD, and this is not necessarily a good story. His father was a little bit abusive, and man, he said he was doing something and he blinked out. His father just smacked the crap out of him, and he didn't have ADHD no more. He's like, I'm done. I paid attention after that. You think I'm lying?
But no, I believe you though.
It's a bad story. It ain't a good story. But this was the most solid guy. This guy together beyond the world. You know what I'm saying? He one of them guys I look up to. Got characteristics I look up to now. And that's dysfunction. And I understand that that's dysfunction, but I mean, you ain't gotta be that hard, but yeah.
He hit him so hard. He hit him, smacked him to believe it was a good thing.
No, he smacked him into believing you got to pay attention.
Right.
We didn't have all of that. We didn't have every child in special education classes when we was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It was, if you was in special education, you was kind of like really supposed to be in special education.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Autistic or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't just because you was learning disabled. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
You just got an F and you got flunked.
Yeah.
You did second grade again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now they got things, no child left behind. So they gotta push y'all. You can't flunk you.
Yeah.
High school can't flunk you unless your parents say it's okay to put you back. Or middle school, elementary, they changed the game. The No Child Left Behind. I think that was Barbara Bush, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That was the worst thing ever happened to education.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that because they just pass them along, and then that's why you got so many, such a high percentage of students who can't read on the grade level because they just pass them along.
But I will say also, you had parents that was really vindictive back then too, that would actually hold their child back purposely if they did something that they didn't agree with too. We had some treacherous parents too, man, from our generation too, for sure. The generations that's going back from.
You say if they did something they didn't agree with, like what?
Yeah, so if the child, like for instance, I had one. I could go into, and I know other people that had situations like that too, with parents with you missing out of school because you're moving a lot. And
because the family structure wasn't settled.
Exactly. So you moving out, and the mama will be like, well, they really ain't learned too much, so just hold them back. And that's hurting the child because the child like, hey,
I don't doubt that'll happen where the mother said hold them back, but I don't doubt that'll happen. But yeah, I know a lot of children fell behind, even got held back because they didn't have a stable household. They were in schools every 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
I know, and that play a part in the child's psyche too, the unstable household conditions.
Yeah, and that's going back to that single family households. Like we really don't think about it now. We could see it now, but when we was coming up, to have a single family household wasn't looked upon as it was bad. But now we could see the damage. Now we could look and say, oh, this the aftermath. Oh, this ain't good. So,
but that's the same thing we just said though. How her generation is more coddled and stuff. Because our generation, we came up through that. And I think most of our generation are good parents. You get what I'm saying? So we try to. I done heard a lot of people say, "I'm not gonna whoop my kids because I got whooped and that was, abusive when I was younger."
Yeah.
So they was in them households where we ain't get whooped. We ain't get whoopers. When our mothers came at us, we got our ass whooped.
We got beat. Yeah.
We got
Right.
beaten.
Yeah, beaten.
We got
Yeah.
beaten. So it was just
Extension
different. It was
cord, stick,
Switches.
switches, whatever she
House
see,
shoes.
house
It
shoe,
went,
whatever.
it went down. The bro,
Yeah.
it went down. So we grew up like I ain't gonna hit my kids because my parents hit me and it was just abusive.
Yeah.
So we want to do better for our kids. So we and you can stop us anytime to you, but we just try to spoil them, give them more than what we had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I definitely.
Which
agree
I
with
feel
that.
like it did held them back to seeing the real world, how things was from our era. Which
But
yeah,
but that's why I always was dog pop them in the head.
no, don't say no.
Hey,
No.
okay. Look, I ain't beat him. I didn't beat him, but I popped him in the head. Why you do that? I don't know. Well, don't do nothing. You don't know why you doing it. After a couple of years of popping them in the head and asking why you do that, they started giving me a reason. It took them a long time. I think them kids was a little slow, but after a while, they started giving me a reason. I'm just saying. And then they started thinking about what they did, and they made better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My daughter now, when she got out on her own, I'd be like, "What's the matter with you?" "I'm stressed out." "Why are you stressed out?" I tried to warn you. Yeah, I'm starting to understand what you said, what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, but she's like, all you did was holler at me, and now, if somebody holler at you now, do you care? No, it's just whatever. Okay, good. I did what I was supposed to do. My job is a father's job is to toughen their kids up to go out into the
That's true now.
Mhm.
That's true. That is true. It's rough. It's tough.
So ask T, T, I
Yes,
got a question
yeah,
for you. So and keep it 100, please. How do you feel about your dad? Do you feel like he made you tougher? Do you feel like he gave you that?
Definitely, yeah. I can say that for sure. He did it, he was just like, I'm not gonna hold your hand to stuff. You gotta kind of do it on your own. I will guide you, and then you kind of just go for it.
Mhm.
And I gave you the necessary tools, but it, the thing is, you let me make those mistakes, which I feel like is necessary.
Yeah.
In parenting for sure. Like to have a two-parent household, that's what it is. The mom is supposed to be there to be that comfort and that more. She's firm, but she's still comfort. She's more emotional. And the dad is there to be a little bit more firm and teach the child a little bit more aggressiveness and strength in that area. They can do both, but there's just things that men are for and things that women are for. So I agree with that on that part. But I will say, because what you just said about the yelling at your children now, I feel like it's needed, right? Because like when they grow up, it seems like it worked. But I can say for myself, it works as far as for that child, like as far as their strength, they'll be strong, they'll have a strong mind, but they will be stubborn and they won't listen to no one else, and they will get their point across by yelling and being angry.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't know how to communicate, and
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what's the problem.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fair. That's fair, but they're gonna have to learn how to figure it out themselves. And it's okay. Because that's fair, but I don't think all the time. But everybody got their own demons, and you're right. That's probably fair assessment. I ain't even gonna argue with that. But I'm gonna switch the subject, and that's good. That's a good analysis, though. I'm gonna switch the subject, though.
Okay.
You said that now I'm going into something, and I'm not trying to switch the subject on the kids because that was a good, good rundown. So you mind saying how old you are?
19.
Okay. So you being a 19, we always be talking about relationship stuff and stuff like that. And you kind of were just going into a little bit of something about like gender roles.
Okay.
So like what do you think gender roles for a good relationship are? Are there such things as gender roles in a relationship or whatever?
Yes, I believe there is a such thing as gender roles, and they kind of work just like how parent roles are. It's more of a partnership since you're working with each other, not with children. So And this is, and I feel like this is a good conversation too, because it's not like to be talked about, especially for some of us women. But relationships get tough, they get hard because the gender role is supposed to be, the woman is supposed to be the nurturer. She's not supposed to be aggressive. Um, Women can have a tendency to want to do both. We could be demanding and a little controlling sometimes. And in relationships, we sometimes blur the line between who's supposed to be that role. The male is supposed to be the provider. He's supposed to be that rock for the foundation for the relationship. If the woman is, calling shots and trying to be over that man, it's gonna obviously cause issues in the relationship. But where the men get confused at is they think that it's control. You don't control the woman. She has her own brain as well. She has her own mind as well. She can make her own decisions. But the point of the relationship is to work as a team. So he's supposed to also respect her as such. Just because he's supposed to be the provider and the head of the relationship doesn't mean that he calls shots for her or calls, because that's where the line kind of blurs for both, and they kind of butt heads. But I feel like it has to be a clear form of respect. Communication and respect has to be the two main functions of the relationship. If those two aren't right, then the relationship isn't one. So both people have to learn, no matter if they're male or female, they both have to learn how to be respectful at the end of the day.
Okay, that's good. I like that. I agree.
Very
I have no disagreement with that. Do y'all?
I already thought, no, I got no disagreement. Look, and then look, you bringing something that we couldn't bring. Because I ain't agreeing with none of that.
No, she right. She right. It is. So she talked about. So what I got from what she said, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm paraphrasing what you said. But she's like, the man. We understand the man is leader, but just because you're supposed to lead and be the front of the relationship, the head, don't mean you making decisions for the woman. And I think that you making decisions for the woman that she got to follow. I think that's where a lot of it comes for a man's point is a problem with a lot of men, because in order to lead, you have to take the woman and the family's well-being in your decisions. It should always be based on that. And if you come to say somebody come to their woman or their wife, and we about to move, so we're about to move to so-and-so state. And she's like, why? And you don't got no real plan. You should be able to explain why that's the best interest for our family and how you gonna do it, so she okay with it and we'll go along with it. Mm-hmm. You can't just come up and say we finna move to Ohio or whatever you got to move to, and you ain't got no plan, and she don't go with you. Then you say she wouldn't follow me. She wouldn't let me. You won't let me lead. Where you lead me to? Mm-hmm. The path has to be clear.
I love what you great point. We had a real situation, when we made that big move we did. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what was kind of with me and Rising. We went through the same process, because I came to her and I was like, hey, I want to move here. Mm-hmm. And she at first was like pushing back, but I did have a plan. I said, hey, we're gonna save our money. We both working jobs. Mm-hmm. We're gonna save our money, and we're gonna take that money and get us a place, and we good.
It gotta make sense.
Yeah, but at first she didn't want to do it because of the family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the financial or the plan.
It's the whole thing. It's a whole life change. She leaving her family behind. It's okay. You want to go out here? We don't know nobody. How we ain't got no jobs out there. How we gonna make this work? Yeah. And you have to have a plan to sell it.
Yeah,
her being your right hand, your backbone. If she riding with you and it makes sense, she gonna ride with you.
Yeah.
But it gotta make sense. You can't just be like, we about to go move to Ohio and we're gonna sleep on the street for a couple of weeks. When we get down there, you get what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's a lot of men do want to be leaders, but they can't lead.
Yeah.
That's
true. I agree with that.
I ain't gonna say all men, but it's a flip game. But right now we just talking about the men and the leader part.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm gonna stay on.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, we was good on that part. We had the fun saved up. We was good. We were able to move peacefully. Yeah. We did everything right. But the family dynamic, that was the only downside to it. She felt like we didn't have nobody here to have our back in every regard.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to stand on your own too.
Yeah.
I feel like too, if there's something in the like, if there's a certain situation that just one person just knows more about, or they just have more clear, like, because I know there's certain situations it's sensitive, and there might be times it's like, my wife don't really, know about stuff like that. I'm saying, like, for example, it's like, hey, I'm saying we should invest our money into this, and she's like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't have no parts of it. And he like, but I know that this is gonna work for us. And something like that, in the case where he goes behind her back and makes a decision, I feel like, if only, like you just said though, if only he knows that it's right for the family, it's right for the well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically the same point that you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, your decision has to be justified for the well-being of the family first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
You can go. I mean, it ain't the same thing as I'm about to go buy me a drone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go, okay, you go spend $200, $300, whatever, $100 on the drone, but you're not going to go buy you a mansion in LA
Exactly.
and be like, how we gonna pay? I just want it. What does it got to do with the family? Nothing.
Yeah.
You spend too much money for that.
Yeah.
I mean, a little baseline example, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it gotta be always for the welfare of the family.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
So I want to ask y'all this too. How do y'all feel like how do we bridge the gap from the older generation to the new generation too? Because that's one of the things I always think about. How can we be able to get, because you made a great point, T, and you too, Hard Thoughts, both of y'all making great points. All of us making great points. But how do we bridge the gap to be able to be on the same point of view with each other? Like, because how would we do that, y'all?
Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Hurry Thoughts, because I was gonna rephrase it just a little bit differently when it comes to T. When you answer, I want you to give what you feel your generation need from the older generation in order to be able to bridge the gap. But go ahead, Hurry Thoughts.
And I was gonna hit you from a little bit different aspect. Will your generation listen to us? If I walk up on a group of young guys who's doing something stupid and I start trying to school them, am I gonna have to draw on them? Or are they going, yeah, oh, here, I got you, you know what I'm saying? Because I will draw. I ain't finna take one for the team. I ain't nothing to teach nobody. I'll end one of them little boys and teach them a lesson like that. So, will y'all even listen, though?
I feel like for the majority of us, I feel like we will listen. I just feel like it can't come from the perspective of you trying to teach us, because then we won't listen. It has to come from a perspective of, you're coming to learn about us and we're coming to learn about you. But if you're trying to come to us, if y'all generation is trying to come to us like we're here to teach you, we're your parents, then we're just not going to listen, because that's exactly what we were dealing with growing up. And that's like our generation trauma is by, our parents always doing this. They're always, in our ear trying to tell us what to do. That's this generation's whole problem. So I feel like in order for us to be able to connect with you guys and you guys connect with us, y'all have to listen and we have to listen. But our y'all will have to come to us in more of a, I would say more have to be more humble. Because y'all, I feel like y'all the ones that's not willing to listen to us.
Cause y'all want us to be your friends.
No, I have to disagree. That's not what we're looking for, because we still know and respect our parents. Like, and I have to say for myself, like, I'm not looking for y'all to be on the same page as me, like we're buddies. It's just the mutual respect. As me coming into my adulthood and growing up, we just want to be looked at and listened to as such, just as much as y'all will want to be listened to, because y'all are the older generation, y'all are the parents. But we want to be looked at and listened to, as our own individuals, and not like, younger, our younger folk, our children. It's more of y'all come off of a more, we've been here before, so we know all the answers type of thing. And that's just gonna shut us down.
Yeah. You know what though? I want to say something about that, because that right there, what you saying, that would have a lot of older people getting uncomfortable. And when you say it, it's like that make a lot of sense. It definitely make a lot of sense to me.
And I'm gonna ride with what he said, because when you first said it, I'm like, you can't teach me nothing. But here's what I think you're saying though. We don't want us to come across as like we trying to teach you. just school you though. We just want to school you. And it's cool. You can't school me on nothing. I'm gonna respect you as an individual, but I'm still gonna try to teach you the same. I'm gonna still try to school you. You can. I want to know who you are as a person, but it ain't much.
But you see, I think that's our point though, because we're trying to. School is still teaching, so they want to come from a perspective of us coming from a space of saying, okay, this is, for example. This is how I did what I did, right? This would be the better, not even a better way, but this is more like a.
They want us to kick it with them like I kick it with you.
No, she not.
No, we want y'all to see this generation, like, you know, like in the form of how the generations are all set to at each other. We just want this generation just wants to be looked at with respect and like. They just want to be listened to, basically, like everyone does. But just instead of a like I said, like teaching or schooling us or you know telling us the answer, we want you to let us basically speak and just listen.
Okay, I get it. So correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like what she's saying is they don't like the authoritative measures of how we deal with them. Like if I'm talking to, hold on, baby, if I'm talking to her and I'm over talking her, or I'm talking to her as if she don't know nothing because she's 19, and you know I'm talking to her like she's a child, I'm not respecting her as an adult. She don't want me to come with the aggressiveness and the authoritative measure. She just want me to respect her for being an adult and being able to listen and be able to express herself freely without getting reprimanded as if she's a child,
like she did something wrong.
Like exactly, because go ahead.
I'm gonna just say this last little point. Higher thoughts, because think about it in this way. Think about the younger people that's like in a 40, like be 45, 47, people that's a little younger, right? They always tend to, when they talk to us, they always tend to put themselves up, like try to feel like they got a lot to say. And you notice that when you talk to people and they're younger, they always got this type of, you're like, why are you trying to basically, like it's a competition, but they're not really trying to compete, but they attempt
trying to act like they got life experience too.
Exactly.
And it's not go ahead.
No, go ahead, you go.
And I was gonna say, and it's not that we feel like we have more life experience. It's just we want to feel that we equally can teach you guys things and new ways to look at things just as much as y'all can teach us the old ways, because the old ways are out. There's, you know, it's transforming into a new thing, and we just have more, you know, new ways of doing things, and that we would like to teach the older generation how to adapt to. And that older generation's problem is they don't want to listen to it because it's not how the old way is. You know, it's not like, well, that's not how we did it.
Let me say two things. It's not that we don't like the new way to do things. We understand the new way to do things, but we also see the things in the new way that don't work.
Yeah,
the foundation. Because it's not no new way to do it.
Yeah,
I don't bump my head in absolutely every way possible. As a young man growing up,
he froze up.
Every way.
You froze up for a sec. You good now? You good?
Okay. So it's not really. I get it's stuff in a new way. You know, it's some stuff in a new way. It's some stuff that I can learn from a younger person. But as far as life, and it's not trying to school you or tell you what to do. And I get what you're saying. Nobody wants to be preached to. Yeah. Nobody wants to act like they being controlled and told what they have to do. You get what I'm saying? I get that. And you're right. Talking to young people, I don't try to, teach and preach. I just try to school a little bit. And to me, it's a difference. We might be saying the same thing.
Let me say this though. Let me add this to it too. Y'all generation, I will say y'all generation, like you made a great point. And Higher Thoughts and Phoenix, y'all both will agree with this. Y'all are more advanced when it comes down to getting and solving our actual, picking out the problems with us as far as our mental health go. Y'all got a better way to identify those type of things that we never was able to identify. Now, I will say this. The older people, like Higher Thoughts was just saying, we coming from a place of the foundation. We know that the younger generation doesn't have a solid foundation, right? To be able to lead in certain avenues. So we there to guide y'all to say, okay, hold on, y'all. you on the right path, but you need to make sure your foundation is right. And that's when y'all kind of rebel to that. And that's when we had that issue too, because it's like, we get you're your own person, and that's great. And we want you to be better than who we were and who we are. At the same time, your foundation got to be solid though.
And it's the same thing. And this is not a new argument.
Yeah.
Let's be real. This is the same argument every generation had with the older generation.
Yeah.
It just, we be trying to tell you things so you could skip a couple of steps.
Yeah.
Because if it was 100 steps to get there, I stepped on all 100 steps.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get you to step on 80 of them. You can skip a few steps if you listen a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's all. And I get, but we understand what you're saying, because nobody wants to be preached to.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be told what to do. We could come off in a better way, not telling you what to do, but just giving you different options.
Yeah.
You know, and that, you right. That's fair. I like that. That's cool.
What about that? See, you like that approach though too?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because I agree with that, because I know, like I said, just like I can assess, y'all generation, I can assess my own and see where we go wrong at, and we don't listen at all, and we don't like authority, and that's, I feel like, is a problem, especially for the younger, I guess, what do you call them?
The alphas.
After me, like Gen Alpha, for them, I feel bad for them growing up, because they don't have no direction at all. And that's where the foundation that y'all come in at is where I'm saying, like, okay, that's where our problem is that we don't know how to listen either. We don't know how to be okay with learning. It's okay to not be in control all the time for this generation. It's okay to not, have the answers for something. It's okay to reach out for help. This generation is so independent, so bad in that way, that they just feel like, I can do everything myself. I don't need help. I can do, everything. And they don't have to be that way. But that's why we make so many mistakes.
So do you think y'all social skills are terrible?
Yeah.
And
they are. And not all of us, though. Not all of us, because it depends on. I feel like it's gonna have to be like half of the generation is and half generations not, because like there's a lot of us that, like, in our different types of jobs and things like that are just more developed for like their ages, that, like, I feel like in y'all generation wouldn't be in like certain areas in life and aspects. But like socially wise, for us, like half of us, yeah, it's pretty bad, because the phones is a problem. And I think that's another thing that we hate to admit, that y'all generation was right about. That phone, y'all need to get off that phone. Y'all home electronics online, y'all need to go outside. That was the death of us on that part. And we hate to admit it, because y'all always said that. And we was always like, well, technology is good. It's good to learn it. It's good to know it. And it is good, but we forgot the aspects of just, socializing with each other and being outside in life and stuff. Everything is just online.
Yeah. And that's y'all generation definitely has more distraction and opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
The internet, like, they'll tell you, me and your mom, we be Googling the crap out of stuff. We'll be like, Google that, and I always be Googling. But, and you can learn a lot on the internet, but we also be TikToking a lot.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you want to do. I know Google made me it at least raised my IQ at least 5 points.
Yeah.
At least 5 points. Probably 15 or 20. Just do it yourself stuff. It raised it up 5 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I would probably say something that might be a little controversial for y'all, but I would just have to say, I feel like TikTok, specifically TikTok, not the other apps, but I feel like TikTok is more good than bad. And I know how chaotic TikTok is, but I feel like I learned a whole lot more than Google ever would teach me.
Yeah.
And that's only because TikTok is literally where everything that you can ever want to learn about is being exposed to, whether it's from makeup to news, because they expose everything, and the truth behind everything is all on TikTok. Now, you can't believe everything on the internet, but for the most part, like when it comes down to it, I have learned a lot of things from TikTok, and I would never do that for trying to find it on like just find it. It's not you're not gonna. It comes to you. That's why I like TikTok because the information just comes to you. That thing ones like Reddit and stuff, but TikTok is more mainstream, and that's why I feel like they're trying to ban it because if it's anything that's I feel like it's good for you in this country, they're gonna ban. And that's another conversation, but I have my reasons on why I feel like it shouldn't be banned. Like,
so I'm gonna say this about TikTok. I don't know. I agree with you about TikTok and there's so much information, but I think that's the internet. Period. I don't. So here's the deal with the TikTok ban stuff. That's above me. I don't care. I ain't got nothing to say about it. I ain't got nothing to do about it. We ain't gonna change nothing. They already made their decision, and they doing things on things that they ain't even telling us why. They say that the company that owns TikTok got ties to the Chinese government. Okay, so man, come on. It's too much that I can't. That's above my pay grade. That's first world problems.
But do you feel like they should ban it or keep it though? What you think?
Don't know. I'll be all right without it. They'll come out with something else. TikTok gonna leave. Then it's gonna come up as Flip Flop. It's gonna be the same company under a different name.
Yeah.
The paper just a little different.
I would say this though, it would give if it do get banned, I like TikTok too, so I do agree with that. I definitely like TikTok myself.
I do like it too. I can get TikTok, but all that stuff is it's a plant, man. It's an industry plant to make you have ADHD and take you away from productivity, being productive.
Yeah, all of it. I agree with that. It ain't just TikTok. It's your phone.
Everything is everything. The TV, like everything is stuff.
Yeah,
we need to go back to
put all that into the food so you can have ADHD and all those mental disorders.
Yeah.
Like that's in everything. That's why you have to like learn on your own.
We need to go back to the era of payphones. These hey, these
computers don't know about the payphone,
right?
Huh?
I said, she don't know nothing about the payphone. You already know.
Actually, I do.
You do know about it?
I'm not that young. I remember the payphone and the dial phone, the one you got to turn. I remember some of the old stuff. I know what a VCR is. Y'all be acting like us, this generation just don't know anything.
Come on. Well, I'm gonna put you up on some game. My youngest son's 16, and I remember we was walking through the mall, and there was a payphone in the mall. He said, "What's that?" And I said, "Before cell phones, you had to put quarters in here and call people." He looked at me like I was stupid. So you 19, so you a few years older. So you probably saw your last payphone when you was about 1 or 3 or about 2 or 3.
Yeah. Because
she
was
but she was.
I still remember, life before the internet. That's how I can kind of say both worlds. Like, because I'm not, in y'all generation, but I'm old enough and young enough to kind of remember, early 2000s. I can't say for the, but I know early 2000s before when all that stuff was getting popular.
Yeah.
And I do miss the way it was. And I don't know if maybe that's just because I've grown up and as a little child, you don't see the world for how it truly is. But I can say from how I remember how life used to be, it did just feel way more lighter and carefree than now. Like, now it's just too stressful. And then a lot of people say, like, this generation just depressing. This Gen Z generation, they act like they don't want to live. They don't have no will to live. And I understand all that they say, but I mean, who would? It's so stressful to live that you can't even, like, back in those times, it still was achievable to buy a house. These days and times, it's you can't do none of that. Jobs aren't existent anymore. Like, so this generation now just feels like, we're tired. What's the point of working?
You say jobs aren't existent anymore?
Barely existing. I've been applying to jobs left and right, and they say, "Oh, we're urgently hiring," but nowhere to be found. To get it seems like the only way to make a standard living is to go to college and get a full degree in like law or something like that. You can't.
See, I don't believe that. I think today's society in the job market, especially for young people, is way better than it was back in our time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For the opportunity, for the choices, like there's the options, but they're not open to you. They're not giving them the opportunities to you.
Yes, I think they are though.
Homelessness
I
is-
think they are right now. So listen, I'm gonna give you.
I think they are right now.
I'm gonna give you some job opportunities that people, especially in the Black community, don't go into, and it's wide open for you to go into it. The skilled trades, plumbing, electrical,
Mhm.
HVAC, being a police officer, being firefighter. It's stuff wide open. UPS, the post office, the postal service. These careers are wide open.
Mhm. But see, my
Why
thing.
open? But are they hiring though? You know,
Yeah.
like I just got discriminated against in I tried to apply for a job and they discriminated against me.
Yeah, and she
Mm.
has
I
you in
know
for
that
the
it was the reason for it. And I had a whole interview and everything. And they seen my ID to see what I look like, and then they just canceled. And
So
still never gave a reason.
I'm not gonna say it on this podcast. When we come off here, I'm gonna tell you something. I bet you I'll be right. I'm gonna make some guesses about that. I bet you I'll be right though. It ain't no negative way towards you. I'm just curious about something.
Okay.
But I feel like-
yeah, go
But
ahead.
I will say this though, when you was coming up though, we gave you the tools what to use though.
Yeah.
So you by right, you choose that though now. You gotta
Yeah.
say you choose it. You getting the rate that we told you. Do this. We told you. Now, granted, we did have some other things that happen. You know.
I'm not saying there's no way to make money. I said there's no way, like in the job force, in the workforce. I didn't say there's no way to make money. Because I know this generation has ways to go viral, make money. I could just stream a video right now and make money right from that.
I'm gonna put you on some game, and I'm gonna challenge you to something.
She just saying the good old working way. Okay.
I'm gonna challenge you something in the good old working way. If you don't have nothing under your belt, you in a competition with everybody. The more you get under your belt, the better off you'll be. And I just named jobs that need a little bit of work for electrician, getting an apprenticeship. You got to work your way up.
Mhm.
But you'll end up at making $100 an hour if you hustling on your own. You know what I'm saying? Police force, that's a career. You know, you ain't gonna get rich, but you might make 60,000. You know, at your mid range, at your mid age. But it depends on what you want to do. If you just going in on general labor jobs, I mean, your mama and daddy would tell you. I went to school because we was up at PH, and they kept working me. We was working them little factory jobs.
$9 an hour. Man.
Hired in. Look, you get hired in after 90 days, but you always got fired on day 89.
Yeah, facts all the time.
Never make 90 days.
Yeah.
That's why I end up going to school. And you got to get something under your belt, though.
Mhm.
Or you're going to have to. And then, see, you got to understand, too, at your age, though, especially if you have nothing under your belt, you're not finna make a lot of money yet.
Mhm.
And that's her exposure, though, because, again, she's sheltered, too. So she don't, and then, you know, she get into the real world, and I'm like, oh, shit, it ain't really like, you know, it's different, you know, but, yeah.
I was just saying on the aspect of just trying to get into entry level, just get into it though.
Jobs.
You don't just willingly just, you know, because I know you have to start somewhere. Like in order to get to those big jobs that pay that much and be able to make your own hours in those type of jobs, you do have to start.
I think your generation don't look at the non-glamorous jobs. Y'all want the either the super easy jobs or the ones y'all think are going to be glamorous. The ones that like so like all the skilled trades all over the country are hiring. It's a shortage of electricians, plumbers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It might be even a shortage for women, nurses and stuff.
It's always a shortage for nurses.
Yeah, something women would rather go in than men. But UPS, the Postal Service, they hire. During Corona, they were hiring pregnant women to deliver the mail because they didn't have nobody. You know what I'm saying? They still hire UPS, USPS. They hire. And the ones in the brown truck, ain't they making $50 an hour?
No.
Who got the contract for $50 an hour?
Nah. You know they ain't gonna make that. You know that ain't gonna be like 5-10 years.
Was it FedEx?
That was UPS, but they ain't gonna make no.
Was it FedEx?
That was UPS.
Yeah. The one
like 190,000, but that contract don't really come into effect till like 5 years down the line. So that's all included. You got to think about Medicare. Your medical.
You talking about an hour? The hourly wage was $50 though. The benefits package was different.
Yeah, But that was
I
the
don't know
whole
the
package.
whole contract, but that's what they maxing out at.
Yeah, but again though, you're not gonna see that money until down the line. And I would guarantee you this too. Before they make that money, a lot of those people will be laid off, just like the big three. Just like we seeing with the big three. A lot of them people gonna be laid off. You know?
Maybe, but they got the money for it. Maybe though. You're right. The company ain't gonna take a loss, but they still hiring though.
Yeah.
You know, they still hiring a lot of people. They always hiring. There's too many people. They don't, you know, it's jobs out here people can get. And I think I look at it now, people hiring, they go to temp services now.
And I don't know that. We was doing that back then.
Yeah, I know, and it's stupid. And now I look at it like, why do y'all go to temps? Go straight to these different companies. Like
it's easier to get in through a temp.
But the job ain't permanent, ain't no good. A lot of companies you can get straight in, they don't go for the good jobs. And I think I used to do that too, probably, and I had to learn when I got older.
Yeah.
Go for the good jobs. Don't, you know, I know somebody who was locked up for like 19 years, came out, got a job being a bus driver. City city bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they ain't, you know.
But I say this though, I say that the best platform that you could do, like you made a great point. Trade school, that's the best thing that you could do with a trade. Plumbing, electrician, that's a good one. And then I say this, the next best thing to do is go get and this is the thing though. You really gonna have to get you a degree. You got to get you a degree or get you a trade. That's the only way you really gonna come up in the job industry right now. That's the only way.
Or
that's
you
what I was saying, yeah, like that's the only way. And even people that have their degrees, they're not getting jobs.
That's a fact too.
And it depends on what degree though.
Yeah.
See, you got to think about your degree. If you go to school for communications, what you trying to be, a newscaster?
Yeah.
If you go to school,
but there's people going for like psychology, like big names, and they're not getting jobs.
But psychology, you need to go for 8-9 years. You can't go get a 2-year associate's degree on psychology and think you're gonna get a job. A 4-year degree of a bachelor's degree in psychology gonna have you as a drug counselor.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to get your master's degree to be a psychologist.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So you got to get, and if you go to be a nurse, you can be an LPN in 2. They got LPN RN programs for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
3 years, and you gonna make as much money as you want to make, pretty much.
But the thing why there's a shortage in those jobs because no one's going to school because it's
not a shortage. It's a surplus in those jobs. So they need nurses can go anywhere. You can go be a travel nurse. And you can travel the country for pretty much for free. They'll pay you like $100 an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can work any city. It's probably more than that now. It's probably $150 an hour. You go any city and just go hang out for a year and just travel and make $100 an hour being a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And you can build your makeup. You can go be an electrician, and a union electrician probably making $45-$50 an hour. You do a job on the weekend, make $300, $400, $500, $600, $800 a weekend just on GP. The money is unlimited out here. You just got to have something under your belt, because if not, you're just another 19-year-old girl trying to get a job.
Yeah.
And if you come in at the ground floor, you're not gonna make no money till you hit about 35 to 45.
Yeah, that's the sad part. But see, that part right there, that's the problem with our society, though, because it shouldn't take that long to see a nice amount of money. You shouldn't have to do that.
That's what I was trying to say with the workforce. We know there's independent ways to make money, entrepreneurship, but the workforce is the standard, for every. If you want to think about every average American or average person, they're gonna work a job.
Exactly. And I wanted to add something too, because she made a great point. Let me add this. Come on, higher thoughts. Back with the baby boomers was making like working at the factories and could buy a house, a car, everything off of one salary. The woman never had to work. This is one salary, and this man making enough to cover everything. So they don't got that. Millennials, we ain't got that. Gen X ain't got. Gen X still had it a little bit. It's kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, they don't got that. Yeah, I agree. They can't just go to the factories. The factories now, the fallback, the plan was the factory. You could go 18 years old, graduate from high school, get a job in the plant, and be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the long time ago days.
Yeah.
And it has changed. It's harder, but it's still a blueprint now, though.
Yeah.
It's still a blueprint to this, and I agree. You know, our system is messed up. If y'all want to get into that aspect, 100%. I ain't even talking about that. Our system is messed up, but we know what the problem is. But you still got to float in that system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to float is either you get a life raft and relax and float through that, or you kick and scream and struggle your way through it and drown.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
So it is what it is. And you're gonna get. It depends on what you want, and it depends on how hard you want to. You want to work. See, a lot of times with old and young people, they don't want to do the work now to get it easier later.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the problem with our society, though. Like, I think that's something that we have not been taught in school. Like, get your shit together right now, so you don't have to worry about when you in your 30s and 40s trying to get right. You got it already when you making the money now. Now you compounding your money now.
And here's the thing, though. I think, and I said earlier, this is a problem. This is not a new generation problem. This is all generation problem.
Yeah,
because we all was told that when we was young.
Yeah.
Take it, get good grades now, get it out the way, so when you get older, you'll be good. And we bumped our goddamn heads all the way through. Yep. And like I said, I stepped on all 100 steps. And all we telling them, all they was same thing. Don't step on every step. But I still stepped on every step.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to shit they said. Oh, I did listen. Because later on, I was like, yeah, they was right. I should have. I just didn't do what they said do. So this is not, this is a good conversation. It's not, I still say though, going back to the original on this conversation though, we gotta be, and I know I'm being hard hit. I'm one of them grumpy old men to you, but we gotta school you. We gotta tell you how it is so you can make an informed decision. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I'm gonna tell you how it is and what I would do in your situation. You got options, but pick the right option.
Yeah.
No, I agree with it.
Yeah.
And that's our responsibility, though. And I feel like y'all, because we rebel, and look, the whole thing of it, right? Higher thrusters broke, like you just broke down. We bumped our heads, and by us bumping our heads, now we like, damn, now we know better. Now your generation, now y'all bumping your heads, but it's like, remember what we told y'all. So that's why the guidance got to be there, and y'all have to, listen to it. But at the same time, we need to listen to y'all too, because y'all giving us great points. Like y'all, we in this, like you say, opportunities is endless right now for y'all. So it's a two-way. I will say it's a back and forth. It is back and forth.
That's why I always say.
Go ahead. You got it.
No, I was just gonna say that's why I always say in any situation, it just comes down to communication and respect. I just feel like those are just the basis for pretty much any solution, any problem. Really, to me, that's the basis you got to start with.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that.
And we do got to respect y'all as individuals. Y'all are people too, and you don't have to do. I can't say no. You don't need to do that. You need to do this. I'm gonna be like, look, if you did this, probably you'd be better off. If you did this, you'll be okay. If you did do this, you ain't gonna get nothing gonna happen for you. There's options, and pick the one that's best for you. But I'm gonna be watching you, and if you pick the dumb one, I'll be like, I told that stupid motherfucker. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Look, that's our agree. That's the agreement.
I might not say it to you, but if you pick the right one, I'm like, yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. You know. It is what it is, and we know we all went through that. Every generation went through that. Every generation went through the same thing.
Yeah, this was a good combo, man. It went great, y'all. We did a great job, y'all.
Absolutely.
Like I say,
absolutely great points you brought out too, Tia, from your perspective, from y'all generation. You know, like us, because us millennials, we older now.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh my goodness. So. So to hear it,
and her thoughts came in with his point of view of like, and y'all both got, man, everybody got great points. It's a great balanced conversation, so I love it. And I ain't never seen her thrusters come, so I know it's a great combo.
Exactly.
I can't just be beating little cuz up. I can't just be dogging her out. Shut up! I'm talking. I can't do that, But no. But we always talk about, and one of the things that in that little that little response video I said was that she had looked at our video and she said it sounded like we bashing. And this is where this conversation coming. It ain't that we trying to bash y'all, your generation. We ain't trying to tell you what to do, but we want to know how to communicate to y'all to get through to you.
Mhm.
So that's one, because it ain't gonna do nothing if I'm talking to you and you just think I'm blah 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 nagging you. You ain't gonna listen to me. I want to be able to talk to you and put you up on stuff. I say school. You say y'all don't want to be teach too, so I might shouldn't say school, but that's what it. I'm old school. That's what I. But I want to get through to you in such a way you'll listen, or at least take what I say into consideration. And you still might not do it, but just know that you got options and you thought about it, but you still got to make your own move.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So y'all got any last things y'all want to say? Look, we went over an hour. This is a good. I didn't expect. I thought it was gonna be like 40. You know, it was a great man.
This was a good first topic, and we talked about a couple of things that was good, but it's a lot more topics we gotta have with you because we need a female perspective and a younger perspective.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that.
I agree.
So I'm with it.
I'm always down to talk.
All right. All
We
right.
appreciate you for stopping by.
Exactly. We appreciate it, y'all, and y'all like, subscribe, and share the Black perspective, y'all. I hope y'all like the video. Like I say, we got more coming. You know, we've been consistent as y'all can see. So let's get it in, y'all. Any last thoughts y'all got?
No, I'm good. Great conversation.
Good conversation. Thanks for coming, y'all.
All
All right.
Peace out, y'all.